Tokyo, day two of the 2025 Track and Field World Championship is over. The 100 meters track and field's crown jewel delivered shocks, records, heartbreaks, and a new sprint queen and king in Oblique, Seville, and Melissa Jefferson-Wooden. We're going to break down both the women's and men's semifinals, talk a little bit about the stadium atmosphere and rivalries that just reset the sprinting world. Now, in the women's semifinals, the stage was set for something special. In the first race, Maria Jose Toulouse Smith and Shericka Jackson advanced safely, while Sha'Carri Richardson kept her season alive with an 11.0, which is her season best, but had to wait since she was one of the two fastest qualifiers for the finals. She was an automatic qualifier. Julien Alfred of St. Lucia, the Olympic champion, showed consistency in winning her semifinal in 10.93, and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, at 38 years old, and the queen of sprinting, delivered 11.0 to reach yet another global final. One thing that I've been missing as I observe Shelly's race at these championships is her blinding start, which has historically separated her from the competition. And without this, the sprinting queen, I hate to say, it appears to be mere mortal. However, the crowd gave her just due and respect that she deserved, given that this is her favorite tour. But for the third semifinal, the biggest cheer appeared to be for Melissa Jefferson-Wooden, who blasted away in 10.73, the fastest of the round. And just behind her was Jamaica's 20-year-old sprinting sensation, Tina Clayton, who ran 10.9. Both of these individuals marked themselves in the semis as medal threat for the finals. Now, in the women's final, it was a humdinger. Then came the showdown. The stadium hushed at Jefferson-Wooden, Clayton, Alfred, Jackson, Richardson, Fraser-Pryce, Smith, and Toulouse settled into their blocks. When the gun fired, Alfred had the best start of the pack. But it wasn't long before Jefferson-Wooden surged clear and never looked back. She stopped the clock at an astounding 10.61 seconds, a new World Championship record, and tied for the fourth fastest in history. Remember, this is someone who came third at last year's Olympics. The progress she has made between then and now is phenomenal. Behind her, Tina Clayton ran the race of her life. Before this meet, she has never gone below 10.8. Today, she ran 10.6, a personal best, and the silver medal. At just 20 years old, even though she had a reaction time of 0.03, which was the worst compared to her peers and to the champion, 0.173 for Jefferson-Wooden, and Julien Alfred, who had the best starting time. Julien Alfred closed another chapter in her rising legacy with a bronze in 10.84 for St. Lucia, another world medal for them. And I'm sure they're going to celebrate her back on the island as they did when she won the gold in the 100 last year and silver in the 200. Again, Shericka Jackson was at a tough time the last few years. She matched her season's best at 10.8 for fourth. Richardson and 10.94 for fifth. And Fraser-Pryce, 11.03 for sixth, which is proof of her enduring greatness. Again, the veteran Talou, who ran well in the heats and semis, finished a disappointing seventh. And again, she has failed to deliver at a major championship, which has become a theme for her. It was an exhilarating race. Congratulations to Melissa Jefferson-Wooden. She's going to be celebrated by those, her family, and those persons in the U.S. who love that rivalry with Jamaica.
Talk to me about this US-Jamaica rivalry.
I would say it's more so a rivalry with the fans, but it's nothing too crazy off the track. We support each other off the track. I've watched Shelly growing up, her, Carmelita, Allison, Veronica Campbell-Brown. So, you know, I've always looked up to other runners from other countries as well. And I think when we step on the track, USA versus Jamaica, we just put on a show. It's a great rivalry. When you step on the track, you know you're going to get a show. And when it comes down to the relays and stuff, it's a matter of who's going to come out on top because you have so many great athletes on paper.
And then we go to the men's semifinals. Tension and fireworks. A lot of prognostication, prediction, anticipation about how this race will turn out. Noah Lyles in the first of three semifinals looks smooth in 9.92. Kenny Bednarik and Kishane Thompson lit up the second semis, both crossing the line in 9.85, the fastest of the round, and appeared to be a little gamemanship between both of them come to the end of the race. Last 15-20 meters, looking back and forth, seemed to be having some kind of conversation during the race, as if the other competitors weren't even there. Kenny got the nod at the end, but they finished in equal time. Oblique Seville, who had one of the worst heat in the previous round and looked very shaky in the heats, and given his history at the championship, raised doubts about his composure. And you got to remember, Noah Lyles, when he was interviewed subsequent to Seville's heat, mentioned that Seville was there having some kind of a meltdown prior to his heat, and he wasn't surprised what transpired.
Did you by chance see Oblique Seville with the slow reaction time in Heat 1?
Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. That man was panicking in the back. Yeah. But hey, he's a gamer, so hopefully he'll get it back, and you know, we'll have a great final.
But in the semis, he answered his critics. The very composed was 9.86 and got out of blocks in 0.174 start time. Way better than his 0.286 in his heat. At mid-race, Seville seemed to put his fingers to his lips, which seemed to suggest hush by those critics. Letsile Tebogo, Africa's young star, Botswana star, ran 9.94 to also book his place in the finals. The stage was perfectly set for an exhilarating finals for the men's 100 meters. The men's 100-meter finals felt electric. There was tension in the air. I could feel it through the screen and with the persons in the chat on my channel. I had a watch along for the event. The finals felt electric. Seville, Thompson, Bednarik, Tebogo, the biggest names lined up for the biggest event at the 2025 World Track and Field Championship. But heartbreak came almost instantly. Tebogo, who we know have a great finish, but not the best start, false started. Now in these championships, they've been pretty lenient with some of the runners. We have seen a number of instances where individuals have appeared to false starts, and the numbers suggest that accordingly, and they've given the yellow flag or the green flag. But here, wasn't the case. The red card went up. No yellow card, no green card. The red card went up, and Tebogo was out. He seemed to have accepted his fate, as I think he knew that he jump-started way before anyone else moved. So the 2024 Olympic gold medalist was out, the stadium groaned, and I'm sure Botswana fans shed a tear. But when the gun was finally fired, Seville had the best start, just ahead of Thompson. And Noah, good start by his standards, but so did the blocks as compared to those two competitors. Bednarik was even worse. Seville ran the race of his life. Given the situation and given the stage and platform, smooth from the blocks. He powered through the first 30. Thompson, actually, even though he had a slow reaction time, and Seville was ahead of Seville at one point. But Seville, as he normally does, is very consistent throughout this race. It is widely known he has the best technique of all sprinters running today. And he was leading perfectly at the line in my view, an astounding 9.77, a personal best and his first world title. The fastest winning time at a world championship since Christian Coleman, 9.76 in 2019. Now you have to think about this. Seville would finish 4th in 2022, 2023, and 8th and last at last year's Olympics. And then, who was slow at the blocks in his heat, 0.286 reaction time, came 3rd in a very quick heat. This was astounding, amazing, exceptional, redemption. And it was all shown on his face and his reaction. Tore his shirt off, he was exhilarated and probably relieved. Kishane Thompson made it a Jamaican 1-2 with 9.82, calm and efficient as usual, powerful. And Noah Lyles salvaged a bronze with his fastest time of the year of 9.89. Bednarik, who was left in the blocks, ran 9.92 for 4th. And South Africa's gift, Letsile Tebogo, broke the top 5 at 9.95. And Nigeria's Ayinsola Ajayi confirmed his promise with 10.0%. Again, Akini Simbini, like Talu, failed to do well at a major championship. This is a theme for both Talu and Simbini, unfortunately. Very good runners, performed well over the years, but at the major championship, the Olympics World Championship, nowhere to be found. Make the finals, but never really produce. Now, in terms of reactions and the atmosphere in the stadium that I could observe, as I mentioned before, Seville was overcome with emotions and celebrated with Thompson. The Jamaican section of the crowd in the stadium, which was well populated, bright yellow in the Jamaica colors, turned Tokyo into Kingston. Those colors were everywhere to be seen. Back at the housing facilities, where some of the Jamaican contingent stayed, both for the athletes and also for some of the local fans, the athletes who were watching the race couldn't contain their elation when Seville won.
Shut up. Shut up.
As you can see. Also, the celebrations for the spectators back at their hotel was one of pure joy. They were so proud of their country, of their runners, and what they had accomplished. They were celebrating the island's 1-2 finish in the men's 100 meters, and also Clayton's silver in the women 100 meters. The 1-2 finish was the first since the Usain Bolt's era, and they wanted everyone to know and to celebrate with them. There's always a side note to these stories. For Botswana, it was devastation. Tebogo disqualified. A painful reminder of sprinting cruelty and the fine margins. On the women's side, Clayton was hailed as the next Shelly-Ann, while Jefferson-Wooden was instantly crowned America's sprinting queen. So the rivalry between Jamaica's women and men in the sprint is back on, it's alive, and it's kicking. In terms of takeaway, what did day 2 give us? Melissa Jefferson-Wooden ran the fastest championship time in history. Tina Clayton and Julien Alfred proving the future is here and it's bright. And further on the women's side, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, a queen, a mother, the epitome of grace and style. This is her last World Championship. It's her farewell tour, and she will be missed. On the men's side, Oblique Seville, no longer what we call the nearly man. He was called before the championship Oblique Asafa by some, because as many of you know, Asafa has not won a major championship, even though for many times through his career, he was the fastest man, but never could deliver on the big stage. Seville was called that name, not positively, but now he's the sprint king. He's the best in the world. He's number one. And it must feel good. Leading Jamaica 1-2 with Kishane Thompson, as Noah Lyles cling to the podium. And with the negativity that Noah has spouted just of Seville and him having meltdown, it must feel good to look at Noah and to smile. But Noah is a showman. Right? He's a showman, likes the attention, and he brings good attention to the sport. Day 2 in Tokyo just didn't deliver. It reset the sprinting balance of power. So, if you haven't done so yet, please like, share, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss a thing on this channel. Thanks, and peace out.